coming!
John Casey and Rick Hurt are back in the Philippines with a new team continuing their search for Yamashita's gold.
We're gonna find a way to get to this treasure.
Like many others, John believes Japanese General Tomoyuki Yamashita took billions of dollars in treasure looted by Japan during World War II and buried it in the Philippines, including somewhere in this mountain. Following a series of mysterious symbols they believe were left by Yamashita, the team is investigating 3 sites: a waterfall,
This waterfall is hiding something.
a crater known as Breach 6,
I've never seen anything like this.
and a camouflage tunnel they uncovered last year.
We are in the mountain, boys.
Can they finally discover the lost gold of World War II? In the U.S., head researcher Bingo Minerva is trying to figure out who else might be after Yamashita's treasure. Recent suspicious encounters on the mountain,
You seeing that?
I'd like you to meet our inspector.
along with dire warnings from Chuck, has the team spooked.
When they think you found a treasure, that they might step in and either steal it from you or just kill you right then and there.
So Bingo wants to know if their safety is truly in jeopardy and how deep the treasure conspiracy goes. To get answers, Bingo's meeting with author and New York Times contributor Roland Keltz,
Hey, Roland.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to finally meet you, sir.
who's uncovered covert operations by the United States government involving Yamashita's treasure.
On our mountain, we're getting a lot of attention, and a lot of it could be just paranoia. But I'm really wondering who historically would have been interested in this treasure and who may have benefited from it. Who might be after us if we do find something?
You know, to really understand the story of this treasure and how deep and how distant it goes, you have to go back to what I would call a key point or pivotal point in history, which is when the man who oversaw the American occupation of Japan and was arguably the most powerful person in Japan at the time, the ruler of Japan, when he learns about this massive treasure hidden in the Philippines. And that man is General Douglas MacArthur.
After Japan's official surrender on September 2nd, 1945, Allied occupation of Japan began. Led by the Supreme Commander of the Allied powers, U.S. General Douglas MacArthur.
Well, MacArthur, he was the king of the roost.
A 5-star general, MacArthur commanded successful military campaigns from World War I through the Korean War. After World War II, MacArthur ordered the Tokyo Trials, a military tribunal to prosecute the leaders of Japan for war crimes, with the exception of General Yamashita, who was tried separately and sentenced to death beforehand.
And the Tokyo trials were meant to be a rough equivalent of Nuremberg trials in Germany. However, as we know, in Germany, there were several parties at the table. In Japan, largely, it was the Americans.
Allegedly, MacArthur led an effort during the trials to extract intelligence from the Japanese defendants in exchange for reduced charges, or in some cases, even complete exoneration.
So here you have this sudden opportunity. The Americans are running the Tokyo trials. People were looking for ways to save themselves and their families. So deals were being made, left and right. Many Japanese who would give intelligence about military campaigns in Asia, about communist China, about Soviet Russia, and intelligence about treasure, a massive treasure. That's how someone like MacArthur got access to all this information.
According to Roland, MacArthur alerted President Truman to the war loot hidden in the Philippines, effectively launching a covert American operation to extract the treasure.
You say General MacArthur all the way to President Truman. I mean, those are some really bold claims. Is there any actual evidence to back this up?
Well, you know, actually, it's kind of extraordinary how much evidence there is. I have here material that quite explicitly shows that General MacArthur was knowingly involved in capitalizing on this loot that the Japanese had stolen, but also that he knew how it could be used. This is a report from MacArthur. Now, these documents were not publicly available at the time.
Okay, so declassified.
What we have
data
is
then.
declassified information, and the fact that he has actually found this treasure and has declared that he can keep it.
These are MacArthur's words right here.
We have legal right to access all of these valuables, precious metals and stones belonging to the Japanese government and valuables belonging to designated individuals. So anyone scheduled by SCAP, Supreme Commander, who is MacArthur himself.
Now, he's saying they can legally do that.
Exactly. If you're the Supreme Commander of your occupation, you can declare what the law is.
What do they do with this information? I mean, they know treasure's out there. They know there's a great amount of wealth there. I mean, why was he even interested in this?
World War II may be over, but America is on the verge of the Cold War. The USSR and the United States are building up their nuclear arms, and it certainly costs money to do the intelligence.
In order to gather this intelligence research, Truman created the CIA in 1947. Some speculate MacArthur and Truman pursued Yamashita's treasure to build a war chest to finance covert operations against the Soviets.
A fund was developed. It's a fund of many names, actually. Probably the most common are Black Eagle Trust and also the M Fund.
It's alleged that for decades, gold recovered from Yamashita's treasure launched the Black Eagle Trust Fund, or M Fund, to finance the most daring covert operations during the Cold War. Laundered through 172 banks in 42 countries, this money was all hidden from congressional oversight.
Here was a treasure chest you could dip into without regulation, without congressional approval, without even a vote. You can decide what you want to do because you have access to all of this wealth, and it's off the books.
Is there any evidence to support how much was in this fund?
Yeah, well, here we have hard numbers, bank records.
In addition to secret reports from MacArthur, Rowland also uncovered declassified bank statements, connecting key members of the general staff to large amounts of gold.
And the amount is 20,000 metric
20,000 metric tons
of gold bullion. These are photos of Marquardt, who was one of General MacArthur's men and who was the one whose name is on what is known as the M Fund, otherwise known as the Black Eagle Trust. The M in M Fund is not MacArthur. Obviously, MacArthur didn't want his name on it, but Marquardt, who is one of MacArthur's lackeys.
Brigadier General William Marquardt headed up MacArthur's Economic and Science Division during the occupation of Japan after World War II. It's alleged Marquardt used his position as a cover to set up these accounts around the world.
MacArthur and his cronies, they were willing to do whatever it took to get access, really, to this buried treasure. So it means obtaining maps, obtaining information. And they would go so far, allegedly, as to resorting to torture. In one case, torturing General Yamashita's limo driver in order to get information they wanted and needed to find this buried treasure.
You know, it's interesting you say that because we've been warned in the past. I think, again, as we get closer, that concern is just very real.
Well, we know what these guys have done in the past. From this evidence, that these vast amount of money attract people who are willing to torture, and maybe worse, in order to get their hands on it, or to protect it, or to keep it to themselves. So honestly, if I were you, I would be very, very careful.
Many believe the Black Eagle Trust Fund is still used to this day to finance covert CIA operations, meaning efforts by the U.S. government to recover Yamashita's treasure may still be going on.
It's a dangerous situation.